Right, continuing on with Gróga Cloch, the novel by Pádraig Breathnach. On page 12 now we are. We're, of course, reading the story of Mac Dara, the buchel of the story. And we are in mid-sentence, and the canonach, we had just met the canon Kinte, certain canon, Gama was Egfile, returning Owalia to home, Avishe. He was Avishe. Hula, so heard Macdara, far a man, Igfadil. Igfadil is Fadog is a tin whistle, and Fadil is whistling. So he heard Hula, man, whistling, the Barul Ege, so that he was now of the opinion at Ege, Macdara, uh, who was on. He was considering that he thought that was on there, the person who was K Nachroshe Shuralta, but he, although K Nachroshe Shuralta, he wasn't certain that he knew who was whistling. Ba Egkursul Ribe, and this fella was putting a trap, a sul ribe, which is a gashte or a trap, a vi unfair, was the man, was vishe, a kappa, was thinking, a kappa, Magdara. So he's thinking the man whistling is putting a trap for rabbits. Honik she unfair, he saw honik she unfair, a guardel. Guardel is the circling that a falcon makes in the air. So a guardel, heart le clee, so over the wall and Gary. So he saw the man circling over Hart, the wall, the clee of the garden or the field, a crumhe, and he was hunched down in a hulods in his walk, hulods a kurdach, and he was searching a kurdach. That's what the search engine is, kurdach in Facebook or Google, a kurdach. Nyart konini. So there was many rabbits, sagari in the field shin that. Kurach, put, would put, kurach, and far, the man, nasula ribe, the traps, the gashti, agus dagach she, dagach would leave, he would leave on there, Gamajan Eid. So Eid is the Sula Ribe, and he would leave them there on until Gamajan, till the morning. Le Shiachan Laihe, so with the peace of the night, Shiachan Nahihe, Hyakach would come na Konini, the rabbits, in the Geta, Ked is 100, so in the Geta, in their hundreds, amach, ferach, fair is grass, so ferach is eating grass, agus verfi, and one would be able to catch verfi kujaku, some of them kujaku snasula ribe in the traps. Le contra, con is ko, tra is time, so in the time between day and night, so in the twilight or in the dawning, le contra namagina, in the dawning of the morning, ver would be my yinna, my man, this fellow, erashirish, back again, lenachids, with his share of brabus or awanter, gansulish brabach, his profits, the fruits of his labors, a crocha awaya, to carry or hang on his string on his way awaya home. Hanig found. So watching this, Magdara Hanig found, or a tune or harmony, or desire. Hanig came on Vakdara, on him, the gashte, the sula ribe, the trap occur, to put or to set, a hain. A is Makdara self. So Makdara himself wants to do this trapping business. Egdul Harbraj, so going Harbraj, over Harbraj, across Nakidabige, the forested area, small, so the little woods. The hula heard, he heard, agus hánig saw he Magdara an scatte the group an scatte gower of goats, Gower's goats, and Mark Asangwil out of the forest they were vider a yacht to come or coming iktacht. Quid apart aku, some of them, quidaku, taghe, taken a mark, or come a mark, come out already from she, ashti, from the quille bige, from this quille, agus iad, these scatta gower, iad, eg inir fair. They were inir fair is the same concept as fairach. So fair is grass. So eginir fair is chewing the grass. Agus ayin is ivy. Var skunsa. So they were eating grass and ivy. The ivy being at the bar, the top of the skunsa of the gate. But Eid were they. These were these goats. Avi, mohalach. So they were very filme, or they were gruagach. They were full with hair, very hairy, and like a bra tuv, thick hair. Akaharade, so but especially the puck midnight's fair, summer's dream, or the male goat Pokade. But Eske was easy on Pokade a ahnachtai. That's a nice word, ahint, to recognize inyal, because inyal erho more tegrok gri. So this is because of how ho greatly substantial tegrok and strong gri avishe was he. He had Eirka fadde storula air, so there was horns long and larger or strong storula or njart also air. Farbri, it's a nice word. It's like the rings of a tree as it grows, or the rings of growth on the horns as they go, or the farbri. Galior orho. So there was lots of farbri on these Eirka fadde, these long horns. Mogul war sul ege. Mogul is eyeball. So big Mogul war sul of his eyes ege. So big eyeballs ege. Kosa agus krube. So feet or hooves, and hooves scafante. It's substantial or strong or healthy on him. Achar ein kyo ele, but above any fog other, but above anything else, ele. Be'e, it was his megil mungach. Megil is goatee. Mungach is it's like a long hair on it. So long-haired megil, skubak, brushy. Skub is brush. Fesog, beard. So he had this long, mangy, brush-like, beardy goatee, a V le bra, to be seen. Vi shin le bra gesuntasach. This was to be observed, gesuntasach, very distinctively, gesuntasach. Be an pockete an ri. So was he be an pockete, the male goat, the king? So he was the king. Be an master, the master of be was he. Be was he. An tishach, he was the chief. Ken gaur ella an lahar. What goat other on the spot or in the presence of Maishe, a will be he, the Vishnach of the courage at him, Rol, to go in akrinlesh, to go in harmful competition with him. What other goat will be there able to compete with this Pokata Henri? Ni Roche on, he was not there. No such goat was there. Min Shacha, these are female goats, Min Shacha, Agus Myonon, and little goats. What do you call those in English? By Ya were they the Quids Ella, the other group of them. So everyone else in the group was Mionshach or Mionan. Uh, Vian Dara eg Miauru on Skatta Gower. So he's Miauru on this group Skatta Gower. Miauru thinking or pondering. Vil Gower Krin. So he's considering what they're up to, and they're destroying Vil, the goats. This is plural goats, Gower. So it's a softer R or a slenderized R because of the I that indicates that this isn't just a regular R, it's a slender R. Krin, the same way here, this isn't a proper N. Cran, this is Krin. So Gaur Krin. Vil Gaur Kshin, so destroyed the goats' trees, plural. Bin Achulashe, this was in it, heard he, so Magdara heard this. Akaharid fas krinte oge. So this is the, but they would destroy especially Gaharite, the growth trees young, so the little growth trees, the new growth. Pyok ihidr, so they ate pyok, they would pull, what's pick eating? They pick ate on carts dife. So the carts is the bark of the tree, and dife is the extinction of it, the annihilation of it. So they would do this dife to the carts by pjuk eating it, and nur one ate iter nur when one ate on carts de cran fine on cranshin boss. So the bark of the tree de cran get fine boss death. So gets the tree that fine boss gets death. So when one eats the bark, this happens. Why? Arai, because Carter, one puts stop lesh on su, so one stops the sap or the juice to go a roll suis up. So without the bark, the sap doesn't go up the tree and it dies. Ak vi gaur goma freshen. Ak was many goats well also. There are many good goats also. Goma. Dihidr, they ate. Dihidr. Lusra, that's plants or herbs or weeds. Lusra arrow niv. Niv is poisoned, so onto. So they ate weeds were poisonous in them. So in them is the lusra. So uh, the herbs that were poisonous into themselves, that had poison in them. Cain leshgale a yenachshe. What excuse or half story leshgale a yenach would make he fuive for being fuive cho mal, so slow, so late. Erga leshgale, or was need erga leshgale, half story or excuse at all, erbe ach to say, but to say, ara govakashe, that saw he govakashe, nebehi erfad. Or was it just enough to say that he saw, that I went off and saw the animals, the behi? Gerouder, they were erfad slán, they were all at length erfad. Were they rouder slán or healthy? Gerou were proper bal ma orhu on them. There was the proper order on them, so all was well. Bejer maybe the nyarnach, if one said he, if he she said nyarnach would say, made Bejer maybe if one would say, if he would say that, right? Ra gurvrahni der harkyon, to say that they watched harkyon overhead, that gurawader arfa, that were they at length in their lee, in their lying, on talav tiram hiram, on the land talav dry hiram, a kugult, a gear, a kangled or a kuggled a gear, is chewing their cud. So we had ferach up there somewhere. Eg in near fair, agus ferach in near fair agus here we have ag kangelt or ag kogelt a gear, so chewing their cud. A sástach to their satisfaction. Bin would in it a chini an a bhail ag brathnú na behi in a lí. So the keeping of this would be the reason for the delay on Vail on him, the reason for his delay, watching na behi, watching Ibrahno na beasts in their lying on their satisfaction ag sástach agus ag cogalt a gear and ag chewing their cud. Hiochach would come lesh with him. He would come to say, Ra go megando, that there was need for him, scat the gower ion a ruagach, so that he would say, would come with him to say, right? It's a different grammar than, right? Would come with him to say that there was need, go megin, to him, though scatta gower, the crowd of goats, wild goats, fion, gower fion, arugach, to rout or to hew away, konbali, to out of the path and to get them out of the way. Garo scatte tinkeri, there was a crowd of thinkers. Tinker and thinker are of the same root, so you could say tinkers are thinkers. Tinker is a word meaning technical person who works with tin or is a craftsman. There was a crowd of these tinkeri there, agus, maybe this is his excuse, was Garau Chilya Barna, and there was every gap Barna Osculta opened at them, and there was every gap opened at them. Vi gira in the he, there was a rabbit. This is the wild Irish rabbit, very large rabbit, almost the size of a kangaroo, in its sitting in a he, erahon, on its rear end, eran mochrin, on the borin. So there was a rabbit sitting on its hind in the middle of the road. Dairi dairi, rose, anir, forward, gugade, and he rose forwardly, anir, on his hind, gugade, or gugade, or hon, is to be krumahe, to be crouched. Hyonti she hart, he then turned over, agus ran, agus ri leshis, and ran with himself downward. Ba hodder, there was a trot of v in a re, and he had a trot or a sudder in his gait. That's page 12 of Gróga Cloch by Pádraig Breathnach, reading about Mac Dara.